What's up, Online Empire Academy? Joshua Woodward here, your podcast host. Today's sponsor is the Yorba Label Company. They're giving us 25% off of 3,000 address labels. If you've ever shipped Amazon FBA, you know that you need those address labels. So it's a great deal, guys. Here's how you get it. Go on to Amazon.com, type in address labels, select perfect peel address labels. In the checkout, you're going to use the promo code LABELS25. That's going to get you the 25% discount. It's time to hop in with our guest. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoy the podcast. What's up, Online Empire Academy? I'm really excited to be here. A lot of us are at home. I know we talk about this a lot, but there's something that I kind of want to bring up that a lot of people are a little squeamish when we start talking about it. And that is the subject of health and cleanliness. I mean, your whole life is revolving around an office. I know for mine, behind these curtains is our office, and this is where we do all of our work. It's where our eBay business, our Amazon business is. And having a healthy and productive workplace is a huge deal. And when I was kind of looking through my life and my situation, I was like, man, I need some help. I'm not always the cleanest person. My wife is way more clean than me. And so a lot of times my desk will kind of collect clutter and it drives her nuts. And it kind of ends up affecting the way that I produce things. And I end up, it's not always the best, most productive lifestyle. And so today we have Alison Kero on, and she's going to she's a professional at teaching people how to develop a healthy lifestyle. Not just in a sense of creating a productive area, but also just having a healthy life and a healthy perspective on your workplace and also your house. So, Alison, I want to hear your story. How did you get started with this?
God, it's kind of a roundabout way. I had actually been working in finance, and it was not my passion. It wasn't something I wanted to continue with. So I decided to go out on my own and start my own business. And somebody approached me and said, have you ever thought of organizing?
Huh.
And I hadn't, and then realized I'd been sort of doing that for work before that anyway. And the more that I got into it, the more that I realized, hey, this is actually really fun. It's really creative, and it's fun to go in and work with people and really help them learn that when you let go of the things that you don't like, you don't need, and you don't really want in your life shows up in this most amazing way that you never would have thought of, because you were so intent on holding on to just junk that you don't. It got really fun for me, and I got rid of all the other stuff that I was doing in my life and really just focused on teaching people how to let go of the things that don't serve them any longer.
It's so cool. I was reading a little bit about your bio, and we were kind of communicating back and forth. And one of the things that I was realizing is that there's really, really practical tools that you teach people that not a lot of us are even aware could help us. And I mean, it was so funny. You have a YouTube video about folding the sheet that goes over your bed that's got like the elastic on it. I don't even know what they're called, but like things like that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish I had known that. So I'll post a link to that YouTube video. But Alison is a professional organizer, and she's been a professional organizer since 2004. So she's got some crazy knowledge for us. One of the questions I had, and this is totally selfish, is we all need to organize something. How do we even pick the place to start?
Really, I think that when you're going into an area and all you're seeing is a clutter, you automatically get so overwhelmed that you can't even start. And most people will just walk out of the room because they'd rather ignore it than deal with it. So the one place I like starting first is just by going through my wardrobe, because it's something that you're wearing every day. It's something you have a relationship with, but it's not always such like a, oh my God, I cannot get rid of this. Like, it's not as sentimental as like a photograph or some of the other items that you're dealing with. So when you get to that, that one part of just going through your clothing, categorizing everything, and then really getting rid of anything that you don't need, you don't use, and you don't want, and or like in your life, and you do it with your clothing, you're going to start noticing, number one, when you open up your closet, oh my God, I actually like what I have. It's not, oh, I don't have anything to wear. It's, oh, I actually like and look good in everything I have. So then you're putting on different kinds of clothing that actually look good on you and that you actually like. And it starts to change you. You start noticing, even if you have less clothing, you have quality of clothing, and it makes a difference. And then you can kind of go, hey, I like that feeling of what I feel like when I look good, when I only have things that look good and make me look good and make me feel good. And then I found, for me, when I went through that process, and I did it with literally everything, but just starting with clothing, the more I did it, the more easily I found it was for me to get rid of the stuff I really didn't like, but all the things that I didn't like and the things that I did like, and to let go of the things I didn't like and not keep a hold of them because I felt guilty or there was some sort of shame attached, or some sort of a fear attached, because really it's the fear that keeps us in place and that prevents us from tackling the stuff that we need to. When you walk into a room that's cluttered, it's the fear of, oh, you just feel that like dense energy of blah, because everything has an energy, and that's all blah stuff that you don't even like. So why would you want it in your home?
Dense
And so when
energy
you,
of blah.
yeah, it's dense energy.
I like that. I like the dense energy of blah because I've got some dense energy around here.
Yeah.
I think you brought up a cool point, and honestly, I would probably start with my closet last because I'm more of like, hey, what's comfortable, I'll go for it. I'm not super concerned about it, but reality is when I feel good, I'm more apt to go clean other things. I mean, it's so interesting you're talking about this weekend. My wife was like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna relax this weekend. I'm gonna be super just like chill. And my wife was like, hey, like, what would you think about changing the backyard and shifting things up there and maybe building some stuff to help organize and create a healthier environment in the backyard? And I was like, okay, like I have a choice here. I can relax, or I can kind of put on my big boy pants and actually do something productive with that area. Well, it turns out that like it's so timely that I'm talking to you this morning because I'm looking at, I was looking at my backyard earlier, and I feel so happy because I created a space I want to be in now. And
Yeah.
I think it's so cool you're talking about. It starts with what you're wearing. It starts with what's in your closet, because when you're healthy, your life gets healthy. So I've cleaned up my closet. For a lot of us, I'm gonna tackle kind of a sensitive subject for a lot of people. I'm sure at some point in all of us Amazon sellers or eBay sellers, we have lost an item. And somebody's purchased it, and then we've gone, oh my gosh, I can't find it. What are some ways that we can organize that's going to help us keep track of all of those items?
Well, I mean, and I've actually been called in to do EB offices before, because it does. If you don't have a system set up, it can very, very quickly override you, and then all of a sudden, eBay businesses are all about customer reviews and things like that, and that can make or break you. So as soon as possible, you want to start setting up systems in how you're doing things, and it really needs to be, you sitting down and going to yourself, what is step one? What is step two? What happens in the process of somebody coming in to place that order? What's the next thing that happens? The next thing that happens, the next thing happens. And then you set up those systems, probably, on a spreadsheet or something like that, so that you can track everything. And then stuff, what you have to do is then set up a system so that you're tracking it and you know where it is from start to finish, so that, and then have checks and balances in there in that system that you're setting up, so that before it goes out the door, that that thing has been in there. But what you need to do is be focusing on that item so that it can seamlessly go from, hey, somebody placed that order, then it goes here, then it goes here, then it goes here, and you know where it is the entire time until it goes out that door. And then it's a lot easier for more and more things and more orders to come through the door for you to be able to handle without you worrying about, oh my God, did I forget something? Because the more fear you have of going, oh my God, I forgot something, the more likely you're probably going to start forgetting something. So as soon as you start your business, the quicker you can start setting up a system of, this is the first thing that happens when somebody puts an order. That's the second thing that's happened. This is where it goes next. And everyone who works within that business comes that, knows that, and does that. That's when the mistakes stop happening and the system works. And then you can let it go and just see what can happen.
Building systems. I think that's really
Yeah.
interesting because, you know, for somebody who's doing this on the weekend, and I know a lot of you out there may just be doing this on the weekend to make, you know, $300-$400 a month. And if you want to progress in this business, even if you're not looking to make millions a year on this, I think there is an important key to what Alison just said of creating systems. I love that. I'm thinking about my garage right now. I'm like, how could I optimize that space so that the listing, shipping, all of that process is so easy and so smooth.
It down. Make it seem as if you're doing it for a first grader. If a first
Ah,
grader can figure it out, then nobody else can mess it up on you. I mean, really, the easier that you set up a system so that a first grader could take it over,
huh.
the less likely you're going to have issues. And then you can concentrate and focus on other stuff, because it really shouldn't be the systems. You don't want to recreate the wheel here. You want to take that wheel and put it in motion. So say the first thing that happens is somebody places an order, and you want to write back and say, hey, thanks for placing the order. Here's what they can expect. Well, how about you write up something that can go out to
Huh.
literally everyone? As soon as that gets sent out, they know what to expect. They've gotten something back from you, and you don't have to recreate it every single time a new order comes in. You've saved a bunch of time, and everybody's being informed at the same time. So it's about setting up simple systems, and also setting up systems that communicate what other people can expect from you so that they know.
Customer correspondence. I think that there's a huge piece of even the living a healthy and productive life, that little tiny piece of customer correspondence, especially for my eBay people, the second that purchase comes through, I think that's a fantastic idea of, thank you so much, we're shipping it out, next day. I think just even having that little note. My next question is, in kind of your bio and what we've talked about, it's all about creating a better life, and ultimately becoming organized is allowing you to make better life decisions. Can you kind of expand on this idea?
Well, I think you talked about it earlier when you said your wife said, hey, honey, let's go do something in the backyard and make it better. And you thought to yourself, well, I can either sit on the couch or I can make a better life. And that's the thing, is sometimes there's a project that you may not be like, oh, I really want to go out and dig in the dirt right now, but you can look into the future and go, hey, wait a second. Me taking the time to take these steps is what's going to lead to me having a beautiful outside, is what's going to lead to things being more organized. It's what's going to lead to my wife being happier, which means our marriage is going to be happier and healthier. So you've just made a decision, instead of just sitting there and having a status quo. Instead, you get up and you make life better, even though it may not be at this direct moment you find digging in the dirt to be the most fun thing. Because for most people, oh my God, going through my closet wardrobe, you think, oh God, I can think of a million other things I'd rather do. It's not about that. It's about making the decision to making your life better and envisioning, hey, if I, learn the math, even though I don't understand it, I'm going to be able to, take care of my finances for the rest of my life. Or, if I have a wardrobe that I look forward to actually wearing and I know where everything is, I'm going to save time. I'm going to look better. I'm going to feel better. That's why you do it. You make those self-love based decisions, because in the end, your life gets easier. Your life is more fun. It's more productive, and everything is enriched because you've decided to make a decision to make life better for yourself.
That's so good. I want to boil it down to, and not necessarily boiling it down, but I kind of want to bring it into the office space. Let's say you walk into the office and the person's got stuff all over their desk. I'm not saying mine looks like that, but it may. What would you say to that person, or what would you do with that person to create the most structured and healthy and productive space?
Well, For me, it's about the person whose space I'm in and seeing how they work. Because different people have different approaches to how they work. And some people are very visual and they have to have things out, right? And other people are like, I can't stand having anything out. I used to work with someone where you couldn't tell a human worked at her desk because she never had anything out. I mean, no personal items, nothing. There was never anything out, but she was extremely efficient. But I've also seen other people who have everything all over the place, but they're, you know, where everything is. They're, you know, they have a lot of stuff, but it's an organized pile so that you know where everything is. And so you have to figure out how that person is and how they're approaching their stuff. Some people work really great with things around them, the things that they love surrounding them, whereas other people really need to have a clean space. You need to figure out what that is. You also need to figure out, you know, are the filing cabinets or the other products that the person is using, are they merging form with function? In other words, does it look great in the office space, but is it also working the way that you need them to? Because say you have a really old filing cabinet and it's really gross looking, do you want to use it? No, it's gross looking, right? But if you have something that actually looks nice, and say the filing cabinet's right behind your desk where you're sitting, you can grab it, it's easy, it looks good, and that way you're much more likely to actually use it. And then the other thing is, you know, is this person ready to let go and start taking on new systems that's going to make their life easier? Because I've walked into offices and watched the person walk out as I'm walking in because they didn't want to make the changes. Their spouse wanted them to, or the people in their office wanted them to. If you're not committed into it, you're never going to make any changes. But if you're really committed to it, then it's about really going, okay, let's see what we have here. Let's see what we don't need any longer. Let's see, get rid of all the stuff that you can trash or that you can shred. Then we're going to take the stuff that you can put into, you know, back storage and get rid of that. Then let's focus on what you have left. And let's create a system so that you can find everything that you have really, really quickly and really easily, so that your focus isn't on finding that piece of paper you just put down or that phone number or whatever. It's about taking a project from start to finish and seeing it happen and making it happen, and then going home and having a life and having fun and seeing your family and your friends, and not being at the office because you're so disorganized that you're redoing the same thing over and over again. It's about really making those decisions to clear all the clutter. And the more of it you clear that is not helping you in your life, whether you're talking about papers or you're talking about office employees or anything else, the more clutter you get out of your life, the more flow comes in, things start working, and you're more productive and you're happier and you're healthier.
I think it's interesting. My wife is way more of the like clean desk, like nothing on it, and I'm much more of the pack rat. Like I got stuff here, but I found that like I really like I have a an alarm clock, a stormtrooper alarm clock, and that's my thing. It's the way I keep time. It's there, and to my wife it may be clutter. But to me it's like, oh, that's, you know, it's something that keeps me happy in my cubicle. And so I think it's cool that it's different than for each person, because my mindset when I think of cleaning is that, you know, or organizing, is that I've got to get everything off my desk, and if it's not pristine and if it's not perfect and everything's in order, then I'm not living that healthy, productive lifestyle. But I think what you're hitting on and what I'm hearing is it doesn't have to look the same for every person. Is that right?
Oh, I don't want it to look the same. I don't think that there's one perfect way for everybody to be doing the same thing. Some people like other people, when I work, I like to have a little bit of clutter too. I don't know why, but it makes me feel like I'm more in control, and it makes me feel better. And I feel like I'm a little bit more, creative. But when I'm done for the day, I clean it all up because I don't want to walk in just seeing a cluttered desk. That upsets me. But while I'm working, I do tend to spread things around. But then as soon as I'm done, I clean it back up again, because that's how I work best. And you know, my parents, my mother, seriously, you move a piece of furniture a quarter of an inch, she comes back in the room and somehow knows something happened and knows exactly the furniture and then puts it back. Whereas my father has, you know, he's a clutter. He's got 5 offices in his own home. So, you know, they've got totally two completely different styles. And for my father, sometimes it gets him in trouble. But I mean, he's happy in his home with the clutter, and she's happy in her home without the clutter.
Yeah.
So, it's really about what makes you happy in life, like that clock that you love. I have one too. Every day I wake up to Dr. Seuss's one fish, two fish, red fish, whatever
awesome.
fish, because looking at that clock, I never get mad at it, right? I don't want the kind of clock that wakes you up with a god awful noise, because I'll wake up unhappy. So I want the things that make me happy in my life around me. That's not clutter.
Gosh, I love that. This is good. I know I'm gonna need to. I say this almost every podcast, but I'm gonna go back and I'm going to need to go back and take notes. Before we end, I'd love to hear kind of a top tip for somebody who's looking at their house, their wardrobe, their backyard, their life, and they're going, "Where do I get started?" What's your best advice for them?
Again, I would really start with their clothing and tackle that and take it all out. Every bit of clothing that you have, if you wear it on yourself, you take it out and then you put it into categories. You put your sweaters with your sweaters, your pants with your pants, your boots with your boots, and so on, until they're all together in a category. And then you go through each one and you pick it up and you go, okay, sweater, you look at it, you say, does this have holes in it? Is it pilling? Is it this? Is it that? Does it need, I like it? Have I worn it in a while? Like when I pick up a sweater, I want to know that it looks good and I'm excited to wear it. And if I don't get that feeling of yay, I let it go, because I don't care if I spent a lot of money. I don't care if it was a gift. I don't care how I got it or how long I wore it. If I'm not excited to wear it, I don't want it in my life, because it's not going to serve me any longer. It already has served its purpose and it's ready to go. And that way it allows me to then go find other things that I do like and will wear in my closet. Doesn't mean I need to pack everything in. And that's the other thing I want to share with you. Space is good. Space is okay. You don't need to fill everything up. And even if you have extra space, you can still purge things. Sure, big, sure, get rid of it. You don't have to fill up the space. Space is actually a good thing. I think we're so afraid of having space that we fill it up with junk. I'd rather have you have the space, because that's going to allow you to expand.
That's so good. Well, thank you so much for coming on. What is the best place, or where is the best place for people to get in touch with you?
My website, which is ackorganizing.com.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you for being on. So many good notes, and I'm so excited just to kind of organize my desk the way that I feel the best. So I'm inspired. Thank you.
Thank you. I had such a fun time.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys listening, and I hope you were motivated by our guest today. Again, our podcast sponsor for the day was the Yorba Label Company. If you want to get that 25% off of 3,000 address labels, I know I already got mine, and I'm so excited about them. They're fantastic. Go on to Amazon.com, search address labels. You're going to find them under Perfect Peel Address Labels. Click on it in the checkout, go to the promo section or the promo code, and type in labels 25. Again, that's going to secure you that 25% off. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, guys. Until next time, Empire, have a fantastic day.